What's up guys, Chris here, welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to make Freddy Fazbear's Pizza from Fnaf 1 inside of Lego Fortnite. So let's just jump right into things. Basically I wanted to create a brand new version of Fnaf 1 as I did this almost a year ago. However, I feel like it was about time to create a version for my newer Lego Fortnite world, and I thought I would make a fun tutorial to kind of show how I'm doing this. So, first thing I'm doing is I'm creating this door right here, and then we're going to actually most likely work on the actual exterior first. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab these smaller walls, which are very important later on, and we're going to do this by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think that will work, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And after that, what you want to do is grab these pieces right here and go by 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you repeat that on the other side. And once you do that, you basically have the ability to use these festival walls, the color walls, to use this. And just for those who know, the sets that we're using in today's video is the Beach Boulevard, Daily Bugle, Durberry Restaurant, Fortnite Festival, Family Neighborhood, Blob Cabin, and Moss Isley. So jumping back into things, we're going to kind of add this to this wall. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we already did that on this side, and you're going to see why later on. We're going to do a similar thing right about here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add the similar walls on this side. Boom, boom. Wait. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And then after that, we're going to bring back these walls right here and bring these out by, let's say, let's say probably 12 for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's say like 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I think 18 is actually perfect. Then after that, we do a similar thing with like these pieces right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we grab the color pieces as before. Boom, boom, boom. And then we basically do the same thing on the other side. So I'll do that real quick. So what you want to do here now is bring this out by 1 and then 2. And then we're going to do it on both sides. After that, we're going to add this probably by actually 1 more. So it's going to be out by 3. Then it's going out by 1, 2, 3. Like so. And then basically you're going to have this go like the similar design right about here. And then afterwards, you want to bring out the color gallery pieces once again to kind of add these walls right here, which are pretty unique looking in my opinion. So we're going to do this on both sides. And then afterwards, what you want to do is basically bring these walls back with the Daily Bugle to about, let's say, 5 for this. So after that, you're going to actually just grab these pieces once again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 1, 2, 3. And once again, same design on both sides, so I'm not going to just talk for that. I'm going to speed the footage up here. Right back here, you want to bring out the wall on both sides, so do it probably one at a time. I would say to be smart to make sure everything lines up. It should line up. However, you just never know knowing Lego Fortnite. It could just like say like whatever, and just see exactly like that. And then you want to bring that there like that, and then that's your pizzeria's exterior. What you're gonna do after this is you're gonna grab the walls. I'm gonna have one example of this, and then I'm gonna just speed everything up. And you want to kind of connect everything where you originally found it. So like this here, and then you have to go boom, 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 boom. And then what you're gonna do after this is you're gonna do this and that and that, and then you're gonna have this right about there. And the reason we're doing this like that is you're gonna go basically erase everything when you do this and go to the foundations. As you can find one of these pieces, which is this, which we're gonna be using, and then we're gonna grab the Moss Isley piece from down here, go to roofs, and grab it for right here. So I think that is about right. Absolutely, yes. And then you're gonna do this on all the like pillars besides the tiny ones. So for the tiny ones, the tiny pillars, we're basically just gonna grab this pillar right here, for example. They kind of give you an idea of what we're doing. And we're gonna go grab, it's right back here. And we're gonna just do this, where we just do all of this. And then we're gonna do a similar thing, but this time we're gonna grab the smaller stone pillar. And then we're going to go back to Moss Isley and grab one of these circular wood pieces, 4 pieces like this. And then that's how we're going to make the wall for that. Speaking of roofs in general, we're going to also work on another aspect of the build. So by grabbing the Friendly Neighborhood gallery, you can actually end the festival. We're grabbing both of those for a small part of the build. You want to actually create this one design right about. That's a bit off. Not exactly what I was hoping for that. But what we're going to do is we're actually go oh my god. We're going to do something like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go down, grab one of the half walls, so let's say like about here. And then you also want to grab like one of these wooden walls as well. So for this build particularly, we're going to grab 2 of these like so. And then we're going to grab, let's say, I'm actually going back down because I need another wooden platform like this. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to actually make the floor to the build. So the way we're going to do this is there's multiple ways I can encounter this. One, I can just do this, which is honestly one of the more obvious ways we can build phrase. So we're going to build this up by 2 on your side like so, and then we're going to build this up by like 3 going up, and then we're gonna grab in 2 pieces from the pillars, so over here, and have it go like this. So it kind of gives you an idea how this build's gonna end up looking in a way. And then we're gonna do something similar up here, but we're just gonna grab the pillar pieces from the start, so something like this, and then yeah, something like that. And then we're gonna grab this, so let's say like that, and then we're gonna grab the 2 piece, and then we just grab like in our pillar like that, and then that is the main sign for Freddy's. Speaking of the sign for Freddy's, what we're going to do right now before we get onto the roof, and before I just jump into telling the rest of the time-lapse bits, is we're going to design Freddy Fazbear himself. And the way I design Freddy is kind of simple. You have to grab 2 of these like wooden foundations, and then afterwards you grab 2 of these pieces from down here from the pillars. So we're going to grab 2 of these like so. So we're going to build this up by a bit. We're also going to grab another wooden foundation like so and have this go up by 2. Then we're going to go over to the fences, more specifically to the B-Sharp Boulevard fences. So we're going to go over to these, and as you see, there's these white fences right here which you can use. I have made a mistake. I have realized that. Look at that. That is amazing. That is spectacular. That is exactly what I was hoping for today's little tutorial. After that, you want to grab these wooden fences down here for the friendly neighborhood. So we're just scrolling all the way down, and we're gonna make these like black eyes for Freddy, which as you see, it is kind of jerk looking, but trust me, it works out in the end. Afterwards, you want to kind of grab another foundation piece, which is down here. So let's say boom. I think that will work. So this kind of gives the rough design, I guess, of what we're doing. And yeah, we're just gonna do this, I suppose. And after doing that, what we can do is we can actually probably just like lower this if we really want to. However, we're going to be grabbing the friendly neighborhood gallery and grabbing this piece right here to make Freddy's nose. And then, once again, we're going to grab everything else that we need. So this is just going to be, we don't need to be short overboard anymore after this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab this pillar right about here. I know, very exciting. And we're going to build this up a bit. So about, let's say, there. Right? Yeah, there. And then all the way over about... I saw that for a split second. I was like, oh my god, look at that. Look at that dirt thing. And then, boom. And then we're once again removing all this for no reason. And then we're adding Freddy's head. After that, we're going to grab the friendly neighborhood gallery once again to basically grab Freddy's eyes. Normally I would do the thruster technique to make this go upside down, but it's not really working as it normally does. So I'm just going to do this to make Freddy's eyeballs. And then we're going to add a little thing over here to make his hat. So we're going to make this go out by 1. And then do this again, which we're going to have a 4-piece right about here, which is number 3. And then what we're going to do is grab 2 of these lovely pieces. And we're going to use these to build up Freddy's hat, which is pretty cool. After this, we're going to have a... oh no, that's right. Okay. I was worried that I accidentally messed up. And we're gonna build up like one more, like that. So that's Freddy's head. I know, kind of a simple design, but it looks amazing. After this, you want to grab the Fortnite Festival Gallery, and of course, I'm just gonna grab everything else because after this, I'm pretty sure it's everything that we're gonna need. But you want to grab these musical roof tiles and go up by 2 like that, and then build out the actual build. And then, of course, you get this, and then you get that. And then we're going to do something similar on this side, and then do this as well. And you basically do this across the whole entire building. But once you do this, you want to grab the friendly neighborhood tiles and then put them on top like so to basically as the roof. This is like the roof tiles right here. And in certain aspects of the build, I do want to bring this up real quick. You want to actually put a half wall in the side of the parts that are sticking out like this. So I think the best example I can show you right now is like kind of this area. And then you want to do something like this, and then something like this. And then the reason you're doing this is so it doesn't like, let's say, get in the way of the actual like roof when you're making it. So I just want to bring that up so no one gets confused. With that being said, I'm just going to destroy this real quick to kind of show you guys something else. So you can actually, what I'm doing here specifically is I'm going to add this like half wall like right there, and I'm adding this thing right about there. And then we're going to do that on both sides. So I just want to point that out before we jump into things, but eventually get the whole like wall here kind of finished, you will actually start working on the roof. And basically you copy that, and you copy all of this, and you bring in this roof tile from the friendly neighborhood gallery like up here. You can also use like the flooring from the other stuff if you don't own the friendly neighborhood gallery for this. So I just want to bring that up as well. So for example, I'm just going to do boom. So you're going to bring this across on top of the entire building and roof of the Fazbear establishment. But with that being said, I'm just going to jump into a time lapse of me finishing everything on the exterior. Alright, now the exterior is fully done, and after this, all you're going to need really is the dirt burger gallery for the exterior. If I'm legit, just need a Daily Bugle in the exterior for the interior, which is quite simple as well. So once you're going here, you're basically going to need a flooring piece like right here, and just going to bring that like about there, because it's going to decide like the main overall outlook for the build, if that makes any sense. And then we're just going to bring this out like that. And then what I'm going to do also is I'm going to bring this one out by, let's say, like that. And the reason we're doing that is because this piece is right there. After this, we're going to actually just bring in the pizzeria like so. So what I'm doing for the pizzeria to make it kind of like weird, I know it's going to be a kind of a weird layout, but I'm building the whole pizzeria out by like a 4x5 technically. So it's going to be like a 4x5-ish. Say 4x6. Yeah, 4x6. So yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5. And I'm going to bring it out by 6, like this. So the only thing that's actually going to be on like kind of like a set in stone thing is going to be like over here with the main rooms. I feel like I should only bring that out by 1 on both sides, so I'm going to have that go like there, and I'm going to have this go right about there. This is a consequence of my actions of making... This is just a consequence of trying to make this build a bit shorter than the other one. So we're just going to continue building out. So 1, 2, 3, a 4, a 5, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and then you're going to bring this out by here, which gives us this little build like so, and this is going to be the office. We're going to have a tiny office, don't worry, it's going to be very cost-aerobic. But over here now we have enough space to add in a little thing. So this is going to be the janitor's office, which I'm going to actually kind of make over here a bit differently. So I'm going to kind of get that there, add that, and then we're adding this. We're making it a bit larger than it normally is, but there's a reason. Because I don't want Bonnie to feel so cramped in that little shack of his. Alright. Alright. Now we're both clear. I think. Are we? That's a good question. So now that we have the main outline of the pizzeria kind of like marked out, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually make the pizzeria. So I think we're about done with flooring. I think if I need floor, I'm going to bring the Dirt Burger restaurant back. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to grab this piece right here. This is going to be the center stone of what we're doing. And then we're going to have this go about there. And we're going to have this built out by, like, let's say, right there. So that's kind of like a marker for us. Don't mind me just fixing a mistake from past me. Don't pay attention to all the freaking errors in the side of this that you can't see. And I'm also going to abruptly kind of just like plan everything out a bit. So what we're gonna do is I want this to be like, and that'll work, yeah, that'll work. And that will work there, and then we got a 2-piece about there, and then we do a similar thing that we got going on over here, and we got this right about here. Perfect. So after this, you want to do a lot of the similar stuff to this, which is just extending the wall to like about over here. So I'm gonna kind of destroy one of these floorings, so I have an idea about how far this is actually gonna go. So this is going to go like about there, this is going to go probably about there, and this is going to go about over here. So I'm going to bring back the Dirt Burger floor, because I need it once again. So I was just, there's a lot of times where I just destroy flooring just to kind of get myself an idea of where something is going to go. And that is one of those times, okay? This is one of those times where you have to be very smart about something, as you have no clue on what you're doing sometimes. Especially if you're me. With Dewey. So what we're over here is I'm actually going to extend this by like at least one more, like that, and by 2, and then we're going to have this door right about there. And the reason I'm doing that is because the main stage is going to be like around here somewhere, and that gives us enough room for the parts of service. So I'm going to bring this up by like 1, 2, 3, add a little wall piece right there, and then you go over here to where the parts and service is going to be, and have it go about here. Which parts of service, by the way, I'm going to have the room start from about, let's say, here. So let's kind of check and see how much room we actually have for this, as I'm a bit cautious. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add an extra floor piece for this right about here. I know. Perfect. So over here you also have where Pirates Cove is going to be. Now in the games they have Pirates Cove outside, so I'm not going to do what I normally do where I make an indent in the walls, as that's not something that really exists in Help Wanted, at least. We're trying to be as accurate as we can to help wanted people. For the main hallway I want to do something like that, and then I want to do something similar over here. So there we go. That's the hallway. That's the doorways to the hallway, guys. Don't question it. Over here we got a free wall, which we're going to place over here. And then, of course, over here you got the fabled kitchen, which never appeared in the actual games. It just exists. Okay, so what you want to do here is grab a 4-piece like so. like this, and then you want to grab another wall like that. And then similar to the other walls that we've been doing, we need this to kind of go out by 1, 2, 3, and then you have something like this going right there. Now this is going to be for the actual restrooms. Going this way, you're going to bring this out even more, which will take you all the way over here to this side of the build as I level up, which is pretty exciting. But over here, you're basically going to put this door right exactly there. And the reason why is because we're actually going to craft a brand new room alongside everything else that we've been doing. So I'm actually going to do that as well. It's going to be a short little room, but this is the canonical, well, not really canonical. This is like a little kitchen that we're making for our build. Not much going on here, but you know, we should just do this. Why not? No one will ever know besides us. Okay, no one will ever know. So the flooring here is going by 3, so that means we need to copy the same thing if we want this hallway to be exactly even. Well, technically it's actually going to be 2, so I don't know why I'm even saying there. It's literally 2. And then we're going to bring this out all the way to the end. And then you grab this. Yeah. And then about right here, you want to kind of grab a door. So I'm going to put this door, like let's say like right here at the 2 gap. So I'm going to do the same thing about here. Perfect. And then what we're going to do here, since normally in the games there's just a window, but we can't really make the window in this, so I'm going to kind of try something I never really tried before. So stick with me on this. We're going to kind of grab a stone wall. So that's where we're going to bring in the friendly neighborhood gallery once again. And we're going to go down here to grab one of these smaller walls. This is going to be very jank, and no one's ever going to know about this besides us. This is why we have the Moss Isley pieces, guys. I want that to be known. This is why we have Moss Isley. Me saying this is why we have something, and just like, yeah, this is totally why something is here. Okay, so how big can we make this? So 2. I think that's all we actually need. So we're gonna make this go up by like 2, like this, and then we're gonna make this go like that, and then we're gonna make the rest of the wall follow something similar like that. So we're okay, making sure everything is kind of correct as I'm doing this. It's a bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here. And then I'm making sure everything just lines up so it's not like too out of pocket. Once we do that, we can just continue on. That's like me being real. Look at that. Look at that. And then we add a piece there. And then we add a piece there. I actually really like that. It's very simple, but it adds the window from Fnaf. Look at that. That's cool. You can't say that's not cool. Over here, we're going to actually just continue the walls as we've been doing. Not much really changing, so I'm just going to quickly do all of this for this hallways, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so for the janitor's office, you want to kind of like figure out a good place to put the door. So I'm going to say like right about there. That's kind of like even. And then what we're going to do about there is we're going to just kind of add the walls as they have been. And then we're just going to continue doing what we also have been doing with this wall right about there and this wall about there. And then what we're going to do about here is we're actually going to just go over here and we're going to add all this right about there. And then we're going to add that there. We're going to add that there. And then we're going to add all of this as it is. So like that, and then like that, and then let's say like that, and then like that, and then like that, and then like that. That is our janitor office. I know, it's pretty simple. Over here, we're going to have the actual office, which what we're going to do for the office is going to build that, and then we're going to build that, and then it's pretty much the same thing. Let's be real here. It's pretty much the same thing right about on both sides. Going over here, though, we're going to actually start working on the actual bathroom, since that's like the last room we actually need for our pizzeria. And the best way to kind of do this is I'm actually going to be increasing the flooring once again. What this room's going to be, pretty much, is we're going to actually have a 2 wall going from like right about there, and we're going to have another hidden door about there, and then we're gonna have another 2 wall going from right there, and then we're gonna have another wall right here, and then we're gonna have it going from, like, let's say 1, and then let's say like about 2. I want to say 3. So 3 here. Then we add another, like, actually, now I think about it, I think it's just 2. I think I was right on 2. So 2. Then we add a restroom like that, and then it goes about, let's say 4, and then it's another restroom like so, and then we give it like a 4, and then let's say 3, and then that's where we ended off right about there, and then we just kind of have everything just circle back here for the actual restroom. And I'm pretty sure for the kitchen is we're just gonna map it out. We have this whole like area that we're gonna like maybe use or maybe not. It's up to you how you want to make this build, because I'm not doing the actual like interior design. However, what I will do is I will go to my other Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to kind of give you guys like inspiration on what you can do for your builds. Because this video is probably gonna be around like 20 minutes long, over like 29 minutes, and that's my kind of my goal, and I don't want to make this video over like 30 minutes, so yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. Something like that, and then yeah, that's what I thought. So we're gonna add that there, and we're gonna add that about there, and then we're gonna add that about there, and then we're going to add that about there with the wall piece right about here. So what we're gonna do for the actual like hallway here is it's basically quite simple. You're basically adding this like little piece here. It's that's what I can give. It's kind of like something like this. So it's like kind of a square thing, and it kind of connects right here. You have this like little gap right going on right here, and it's quite simple. I can kind of show you what I mean. I'm gonna show you by kind of like removing what I did for like one of the bathrooms and kind of showing you it, because I realized I was not recording. Casual Chris. So basically you have like 4 piece, and you have a 2 piece there, and then you have like a 4 piece here, and you have like 2 of the like 1 pieces like right here. So like you have 2 like 1 of these here, and you have a 4 piece there pretty much, and then you have like 1 of them on the corners. You kind of get my drift, right into editing Chris. What our editing Chris is going to do, I actually want to bring up one thing that I totally did not forget, which is William Apton's back room. I totally was not about to forget this room. Totally not. I was totally not about just to jump into a time lapse or any certain type. So with that being said, I'm gonna quickly finish this, and yeah, I would just hit the time lapse and be finishing the roof, I guess. Build is finally done, and I'm just gonna give some final little tips before I actually get off. So as you see here, we got a cool little stage design which you can use using the foundation piece. We got something similar for Foxy. With that being said, you also can add a lot of decorations we're going to showcase in a few minutes. But to add a bit more like depth, I want to say if you're building this like in a place like me where it's like a bit hollow, you can actually add like a floor like underneath it, so you can't really see this. So just want to point that out just in case anyone's curious about that. But before we end the video, I want to go to my other little Fnaf world so I can give you guys some tips and tricks about like give you ideas for what you might want to do with Fnaf. So we're here with the original Freddy Fazbear's build, and it's really just to give you guys some ideas and inspirations for what you may want to do with your Fazbear build. Please let me in. Let me in. Yes, I just phased through the doors. That's about right. So welcome to the Lagtopia known as my original Freddy's build. See, it's pretty cool. It's some stuff. You got the stage, you got some tables, you got the Pirate's Cove over there. Something else you can do, I do want to bring this up since we actually are here. It won't let me because there's a Max building, but if you own the Haunted Gallery, which I do as well, I just need to find it because I am going cuckoo right now. You can use the like interior walls as like a form of meatballs, yeah, I see. But you can use it as like a curtain to basically for like your Pirate's Cove or the main stage. I just want to bring that up. You also have like a bunch of boxes. You have the janitor's closet. There's so much they can actually do with the actual Fazbear build, and it's so cool just coming back here. And I hope this kind of gives you guys some inspiration, and I hope this like whole video has kind of helped you in some way. So yeah, I think that's about it for what I think this is about where we're gonna be ending it off for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial, and if you guys want to see more tutorials like this in the future, then let me know down in the comments below. I know it's a bit of a longer one, but hopefully it is under 29 minutes. That is your goal, editing Chris. Make it under 29 minutes, or else. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial, and if you guys did, please consider leaving a like. If you do, consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that being said, I hope you all have a spectacular day, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, everyone.